Lifestyle. Yeah, lifestyle lit. I've been legit. The motive is in. I'm going again, but I'm going to win. I don't know when to end. Got me needing residuals for the time that I spent. Yeah.
All right. We are back. Welcome to It's a Lifestyle with the official LP. I am your host, the official LP. We are back once again. If you haven't done so thus far, please make sure you are subscribing. Subscribe, like, comment, share the page, share, the channel, share a lot of different things that I'm doing. The clips. I appreciate everybody who has been tuning in at the different topics and different conversations and different interview segments that everybody has been, engaging in. And I will always, start the show with appreciation because I'm appreciative of people's, time and what they give to actually, giving positive feedback to what I'm actually doing and just, wanting me to progress farther in that manner. So I wanted to start this show, not, you don't always want to start on a down mood, but, there's things that happen in life, but I wanted to just touch on, the unfortunate, timely passing of, D'Angelo, phenomenal R&B artist, gave to the culture and gave just to the music, just music in general. It just doesn't have to be a, specific genre. He was just such a great musician. And, he was born Michael Eugene Archer, just to be specific. He died at 51 years old with a private battle with cancer. He has two sons and a daughter. He has a son who is with Angie Stone, who unfortunately passed in March 2025 as well. Just wanted to just let me hit a little tune. Rest in peace to D'Angelo.
Lifestyle works up.
Let me tell you about this girl, maybe I should. I met her in Philly, and her name was Caresha. See, we be making love constantly, that's why my eyes are a shade blood burgundy. The way that we kiss is unlike any other way that I be kissing when I'm kissing. What I'm missing, won't you listen? Brown sugar, babe, I guess high up your love, I don't know how to behave.
Lifestyle works up.
Once again, want to give a rest in peace to D'Angelo. Michael Eugene Archer passed away October 14th. He was born February 11th, 1974. Yeah. And let me turn down a little bit. For me, D'Angelo, he was a big part of the community as far as like when I actually was introduced to him. It was like he wasn't trying to be an image, and once it got to like How Does It Feel, the untitled track off his Voodoo album, I feel like that's when it that's when like the sex appeal kicked in, and a lot of ladies was kind of like that, like gravitating toward that because it's a very memorable video, and and he'll always be known for a multitude of things. But I think that for me, the most important thing that will always be a mainstay for D'Angelo is that he was true to the core as a musician. He was true to the core as a songwriter. He was true to the core as like giving good messages, and he will always be missed. He will always be missed. We want to give it up for D'Angelo. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. You have been such an inspiration, and you know, I just hope that you you know, are in a better place, and I'm sure you are in a better place. He's going through a private battle with cancer, you know, and we want to just always be mindful to people of the different things that they're actually going through, because, you know, these things feel like they're so sudden, but, you know, sometimes there are things that have been going on in the backgrounds that they don't always need to share with us. So, you know, my condolences to his family. My prayers and my thoughts are with them, you know, and then, you know, everybody who has loved D'Angelo throughout the years as well, too. So we want to give a nice rest in peace to D'Angelo. Lifestyle. All right, so we're not gonna, you know, not to shift the mood a little bit, but we just gonna touch on real quick, Stephen A. Smith, right? So Stephen A. Smith, I've always been a fan of Stephen A. Smith, coming up on First Take and on ESPN, and you know his debate topics, and you know everything that he's contributed to the media space and being a real journalist. And you know, when it comes to talking about sports, he's been very entertaining. You know, if you're not familiar with Stephen A. Smith, he's been on TV, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him now because he's getting a little bit more into the politics side of things, where now he's going at Tiffany Crockett, and excuse me for that, Jasmine Crockett. I apologize. Jasmine Crockett, she's part of the House of Representatives for the Texas, you know, in Dallas, Texas. She's a congresswoman. She represents portions of Dallas and Tarrant counties, you know, with cities of Dallas, Grand Prairie, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Lancaster, amongst those things. But Stephen A. has been facing some backlash because he decided to kind of critique the way that she goes about, you know, delivering her messages, and just, you know, straightforward, and kind of just being more, you know, for lack of a better term, just more informative and appealing to people who may not always understand politics. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that, you know, people get caught up with how it's supposed to be and cookie cutter tactics. And I think that you need new energy, and you do need somebody who is able to break down certain matters to people who over the years have like kind of went over their heads a little bit, but just based off of the lingo and the language that has been used, and the verbiage that's been used when discussing certain matters and certain problems in said communities. So with somebody like a Jasmine Crockett to you know, deliver her message the way that she's delivering her message, I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, Stephen A. has kind of, you know, been teetering the lines of, you know, playing whether it be Democratic or Republican Party. You know, we're not really sure. There's been rumors about, you know, he actually wants to try to run for presidential office. Now, I'm not sure if he's thinking of doing that just based off of what the actual current presidential office is, but it can seem that way in a sense, because it's kind of like a way to see if you will fit in that field based off of the things that are going on. You think that you would be a better fit, but I don't think this is the way we actually go about it. It's unfortunate that Stephen A. would go about that. You know, he delivered those comments from his Straight Shooter podcast, and you know, he was pretty much criticizing Trump. And now that may come off a certain way to a lot of people, but I think Stephen A. is definitely treading, you know, some thin ice when it comes to, you know, culture, or whether it be certain tactics that he even wants to use. Because even if he stepped out and wanted to, you know, be the president or whatever he wanted to do politically, it would just feel like, you know, when he wanted to circle back and try to, you know, talk to his community, these would be the things that would kind of go against him. And you don't really want to have those matters. He already kind of had that when it came to Kyrie. When the certain Kyrie situation went on, the Kyrie Irving situation went on, when he was kind of going back and forth about the Amazon situation with Jewish videos, books, different things like that. We're not gonna rehash it, but Stephen A. has alluded to it even well with Colin Kaepernick. He's kind of always taking the other side. Jerry Jones actually came under fire. The owner from the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, actually came under fire for him being at a it pretty much looked like a racist rally. He was it was a picture that came, it came on the internet and people posted on the internet, and Jerry Jones was in the picture, and it looked like it was like a racist rally. It looked like it was somebody, one of those times when it was segregation. There was a lot of different things going on, similar to like Ruby Bridges or something like of that nature. And Jerry Jones was in the crowd, and um, Stephen A. decided to just jump out there and, defend him in different ways. Not saying that he's actually racist or anything of that nature, but he just felt like the need to, actually defend him in a sense, but not even only defend him, but to actually go do a sit down interview with him and talk about his friendship, maybe because he's flying him in on helicopters or wherever he is. Stephen A. has always come off as a capitalist. He said it unapologetically on a lot of times on ESPNs and a lot of times on his segments. I've always have been a fan of Stephen A. Smith, but as the years progressed, there were different things that I didn't really agree with, so I really didn't tune into what he was doing. I was always an avid watcher of First Take, but when Undisputed came about with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, I veered over there, and First Take wasn't a thing anymore because Stephen A. the way he would make that show and kind of his bravado and his aura and what he would kind of make the show about him and his certain point of views, and then even just branching off into now with the podcasting, not even the podcasting, but the kind of the political takes to gain maybe another notch in the belt of whatever it is that he destined out to kind of you know achieve for himself. So I don't really I don't really agree with a lot of his approaches to his political views and the things that he seems are necessary to him. But I would just hope at some point, Stephen A. actually decides to sit down with himself and decide, is everything always going to be a monetary value? Is everything always going to be a capitalistic situation to where you're able to, have a better outcome for your life as far as dollars, and not really like a moral compass or where you actually stand with certain things and how you're affecting certain people around you that may not even just me, because, it's me not rocking with him or me not agreeing or aligning with the things that he aligns with, it's not going to bother him. But what about the people that actually may be around him that it actually bothers him? Will that affect the way that he actually moves? So hopefully at some point he actually comes across that. And we're going to move on from Stephen A. because it's a lifestyle. So we're going to get into music. We're going to get into music. So Caresha, right? So Caresha is accusing Tyla of pretty much stealing her song. She's pretty much accusing her of stealing a song about being taken to Chanel. Now, for me, I'm unaware that Caresha was actually pursuing music again. She went into the podcast field, when she was with Puff, and she was doing business over there. She really wasn't putting out music like that. She did put out music with Puff, a remix that, some music that he had curated. I know JT, the other half of the City Girls, she's been putting out, actually albums and projects and really trying to work the music circuit. So, so for Caresha to pop up with saying that Tyla stole her song, so apparently she played her song about taking her to Chanel. Now, I don't have the audio. It's not a song that's released, but apparently it's a song that Caresha had played for her, and Tyla now has a song about going to Chanel. Now, one thing I will say is that these designer brands, they are similar. Now, Caresha should have already known, to be honest with you. Caresha should have already known, just anybody's. she's an artist in better position than you. You shouldn't be showing her any type of music because what you're doing is you're just actually aligning her with different things, or even if you were tapped into another frequency that could work at whatever time point or time um whatever time period that you plan to actually releasing this on, that could actually work for her if she's able to kind of manipulate it or flip it in a way that actually caters to her brand. So I think that was just a bad job on her part. And Tyler, people are opportunists. People are opportunists. And I'm not calling Tyler an opportunist, but there's a lot of, when you're showing other creatives or even just nowadays where you don't really, and that's the thing too. I think there's a there are songwriters out there, but nowadays it just seems like people are not appreciative of songwriters and actually being confident in the things and the capabilities that they can actually bring forth as far as their ideas. So people are gonna always, that's the business. They want to get one up on one they want to get one up on you, and somebody as Tyler who's, trying to catch that big hit again, like, when you actually achieve like a water, you want to actually follow that hit. And there hasn't been not one that has been even close to that. She's put out music. She is a brand. They're going to serve her brand. Millions of songs come out almost every month. And, it's hard to catch up with music. So, and when you're trying to capture the limelight, now you want to get it to wherever you had it at. So for Tyla, her having that water, she wants to get that song back to where she wanted. She wants to get another song back to where, that water was. So I just, I don't, who knows if the song will actually be as big, but, Caresha should kind of, be a little bit more careful. That was kind of like on her part. I don't think it was the same. Caresha's actually sounded better from the snippets that I heard. I haven't heard the full songs. The full songs are just snippets on Instagram. Who knows? We're in the we're in the content creator day and age where you just never know how these things play out. Some things can be real. Some things can be 70% real, 30% fake. 30% is the promo marketing. It could be 50-50. It could just be 100% fake. But she could be showing her this song, and Carissa's just could just be getting promo just based off of just people playing that snippet over and over again. So when she goes and drops the record, now it's a record that now you're gonna have people deciding. Excuse me, you're gonna have people deciding if they like this record or that record. So it pits these two artists against each other. But in a day and age where people's like people like beefs and clicks and views, and if you say something salacious or if there's something that is against somebody else, is automatically going to get attention, and there's always something attached to it. It seems like whether it be a single, an album, or rollout, or anything like that, is virality. You know what I mean? Whether that be a word or not, going viral, just it's like a thing nowadays. But I wanted to ask, should artists be more careful with their material, or should they, keep it a little close to the vest? So let me know down there in the comments. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, commenting, and engaging with the community and what we're doing and trying to build this. And I appreciate y'all once again because it's a lifestyle. All right, and music kind of in the same way. I wanted to move on to Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson biopic, the movie. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with it or not. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, like many others, and it's been having some hiccups. They started rolling out like who was going to be playing him. Jafar Jackson, who is Jermaine Jackson's son, which is Michael Jackson's nephew, is going to be playing Michael Jackson. He looks just like him. You can see the similarities. He has that Jackson look. They have shown different teasers over like the past year or so. It was looking like the movie was gonna come out, and it was slated to come out in October. No, not October. Excuse me. It was slated to come out in April of early 2025, but that didn't happen, and they pushed it back. And it was supposed to, and they said that the reasonings at first were they were pushing it back to about around October, which is right now. They were pushing it back to then so that they could be considered for um, the Emmys and a lot of the Oscars, a lot of awards and stuff like that. So, but now they're pushing it back to 2026, and a lot of it has come from a legal restriction. from a decades-old settlement that prevents the dramatization of the 1993 abuse allegations and the accuser's family from the film to scrap and reshoot its third act. So it was going to be one movie. It was talked about being split into two movies and or even in the thirds because there was just so much to cover from Michael Jackson. The Jackson's American Dream came out years ago. A lot of people wanted that continuation on after Michael had did the Motown 25 and did the Moonwalk for the first time. There was a lot after that. The Jacksons toured after that. And the Michael Jackson went on to further his career, and we already know the different things he was able to achieve even after the Jackson 5. So for this movie to be taking place and finally to give a vision to what that was, they were trying to be transparent in the not holding anything back, whether it be the accusations or allegations or the court cases, or they didn't want to leave anything out. But apparently they missed something in the legal documentation or the agreement based off of the 1993 abuse allegations that the family never wanted to be mentioned, and they never wanted to be a part of anything like that, which it kind of makes it tricky. And I guess in the court of law this is the way it goes, but it kind of makes it tricky because it's hard. It's I know they made that agreement, but it's crazy because now years down the line, whoever had you know alluded to the different allegations that were going on now can kind of resurface or now file another lawsuit or whatever it is against the Jackson estate, even though that Michael has been passed for so many years. And he's never been proven guilty in this matter. And so for it to be left out of the movie, it just kind of it's interesting when it comes to that. But I want to know if y'all are looking forward to it. Are y'all looking forward to the Michael Jackson movie? I'm definitely looking forward to the Michael Jackson movie. I think this movie will shatter records, if done the right way, which Antoine Fuqua, Fuqua, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. I think he's gonna do it justice, and especially with the people that have been a part of this cast so far, with Nia Long, like I said, Jafar Jackson, and even the I want to get for 1 second. I want to get the cast of the Jackson cast biopic. I want to get the cast real quick because the Colin Domingo, yes, Colin Domingo playing Joe Jackson and Nia Long playing Catherine Jackson. I think they really have, I feel like they really have really good actresses and actors to, you know, bring this movie to life and, show us that other side of Michael, maybe the things that we didn't know, maybe to, show a side of him, whether you agree with, whether you think that he should be found guilty or not guilty. We not into that. We're not, we not here in the court of law to decide any of that, but whether you agree or think that he did whatever he did, whether you think he's great or not great, whether he's better than Prince or not Prince, we just gonna find out those things. Which a Prince movie needs to happen too. We need to get on that. Yeah, that needs to happen too. I think the greats need these biopics, and it's a time to actually do this some justice. So we'll see what happens with that, because you already know it's a lifestyle. Just let me know down there in the comments if y'all looking forward to that Mike movie. But we are going to roll on with the week 6 picks recap and the week 7 picks. Let's get it. All right, so last week I went 9-5. All right, had some tough losses. The Bills loss surprised me, and the Commanders loss. That definitely surprised me as well too. Especially they had those games on at the same time. It would have been a little different record. What I mean? It would have been 11-3. That would have been smooth going into it. But on the season, I'm 37, 28-1. Hopefully y'all winning some money out there on y'all tickets, y'all parlays. Hopefully y'all hitting big out there, man. Y'all been coming up like one leg short on a lot of these parlays. You already know, like, it's been, DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, all of them, which one you using, Sports Dog, it don't matter what it is. I just hope that y'all winning some money out there, and just hey, wish your boy some luck too and win some money, because we win this money, then we all do this together. We can get picks together. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's get this money. All right, so we gonna move over to my week 7 picks because you already know what's up. All right, so I got the Rams over the Jags. I got the Eagles over the Vikings. I think the Eagles get back on track, and I think they do what they need to do. Hopefully, they start feeding Saquon and giving him the ball a little bit more. I got Patriots over the Titans. I got Panthers over the Jets. I got Dolphins over the Browns. Bears over the Saints. Chiefs over the Raiders. Chargers over the Colts. Giants over the Broncos. Packers over the Cardinals. Commanders over the Cowboys. Falcons over the 49ers. Lions over the Bucks, and excuse me, Texans over the Seahawks. And those are your week 7 picks. And we're going to move over real quick. To the NBA. Let's give it up for the NBA kicking back off. Yes, sir. The NBA. Yes, the NBA is kicking off October 21st. That is a Tuesday, and it's the Rockets at the Thunder and the Warriors at the Lakers. I got it's just quick picks right now. I got the Rockers. I got the Rockets at the Thunder. I got the Rockets beating the Thunder, and I got the Lakers beating the Warriors. I think that KD is about to put up some numbers. He's not gonna go crazy, but just that feeling of being back in OKC, that's where he started it off at. I think he's gonna put some numbers up. I'm looking close to 30, but like 26, 27 might do. He's a vet in the game right now. He's an OJ. What's going on? Hey, yo, he's an OG, and you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. I think the younger players are going to be able to eat. Everybody over there, and I think KD is going to be able to be efficient and get his buckets and be able to help the players get what they need to. Even though the Thunder, it's ring night, most likely they're gonna be raising that banner, and it's crazy that they made KD watch that. Like they made KD watch them raising a banner for them winning. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. That is crazy. Yeah, KD, he might get like 35, 40 piece now that I'm thinking about it. Yo, bet that over on that 30. 30, yeah, yeah. All right, at the Warriors Lakers, I would say, with LeBron being out because of the sciatica, I think it was like 2 to 3 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. But I think LeBron, him getting that rest is definitely well needed. It's interesting to see what Luka's gonna do. I think he's gonna put up like close to a triple double, not exactly a triple double, but 30 with like close to a triple double. And I think that the Warriors are solid. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually came into the lake because Curry really gets up on the big games. He puts up big numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to start the year off strong. Because I think that not only myself but a lot of basketball fans forget about how great Steph Curry is, and he can be the one to kind of just put a different spark to the season. Because when the Warriors are good and Steve Kerr and them are doing what they need to do, and Draymond is doing what they need to do, and even that they got Jimmy Butler and they got Jonathan Kuminga signed back, we're gonna see what they actually bring game one. It's big lights. It's Hollywood, and we'll see what they do. With the NBA. Make sure y'all tune into the NBA tip-off special that I actually have previewing on the 20th. I have two special guests that's going to actually be joining me, and we're going to be breaking down the whole league. And make sure y'all, again, hey, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, staying in tune with what we doing. And I just always appreciate y'all as well, too. I can never get enough of saying that because I thank everybody who has been tuning in and help me grow this. And, let's do this together. So, again, but I wanted to move inside still with the NBA is Michael Jordan's debut as an announcer and contributor. How will he do? What y'all think he's gonna do? I think MJ about to go up there. They haven't really gave a date or a game. They haven't announced the actual game that he's gonna be a part of. But I can only imagine the first NBC game is definitely going to, feature Michael Jordan, for sure, because he was lighting it up. That he was prime time watching MJ just do what he needed to do and win the championships in the games and how clutch he was and how efficient he was at times. It was just crazy to watch. So him to actually take that seat now after all these years, how he's been so just, off into the distance and just all these companies and business ventures and opportunities that he's able to maintain. It's just interesting to see that now he's going to take this seat. Even the shift that Tia has made with Charles Barkley and Kenny the Jet Smith, and Shaq and what they're doing and Ernie to where they're at now. It's like, okay, now things are getting shaken up. People don't watch TV as much unless it's like a major sporting event. Is a lot of the different things are streaming reasons why that the NBA has gone to streaming. So it's gonna be interesting to see where if Michael Jordan is okay, like, because he's a competitor. So once he starts being visible again, and if he's getting ratings as far as like if his commentary is not as good, or he's just gonna just lay it out there on the line and just this person's not that good, this person's not that good, because they're gonna ask him about LeBron. This is gonna be their opportunity, regardless if it's game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, game 20, game 30. Look out for it. They're gonna ask about LeBron, especially because LeBron is close to his retirement and his retirement tour. Let's see how long Michael Jordan actually goes on as being a special contributor, but I don't think it's going to be for 1 year. So if LeBron actually decides to retire next year or even a year after, it's going to be interesting the takes that like Michael Jordan might actually have when it comes to who's talking about being the GOAT. Didn't want to focus it out and be the GOAT and the LeBron and Michael Jordan topic, but it was just right there. It was right there. You know what I'm saying? In sports, and another thing kind of in sports, but in TV as well too is let's give it up for BET. BET is ready to launch 106 in sports with Cam Newton and Ashley Nicole Moss. Executive produced by LeBron. Let's give it up to LeBron and his business partner Maverick Carter. And they're calling it the top 5 sports show. And I just want to know your expectations. Is it gonna? Are they going to try to bring remnants of the 106 in part, kind of like video countdown, whether it be like top five highlights when it comes to certain whether it be catches or run plays, there's a lot to go off of Cam Newton. Cam Newton is a legend. To me, he's a Hall of Famer. It don't matter what ballot he actually goes in off of. I think Cam Newton is a Hall of Famer just off of football and just in general and what he was able to do in his respective career. I'm learning more about Ashley Nicole Moss, but the pairing have the two and the pairing have seemed that is it deemed to be necessary to go forward with this show. LeBron and Maverick Carter have ventured off into a lot of different business things, and they've been spot on. They've had the eye to actually have forward thought when it comes to actually knowing what the culture wants to see, and it's always been culture based. Even the House Party, movie that they actually came with and trying to revamp that, whether people liked it or didn't, they liked it or didn't like it. I think LeBron and Maverick, they put together, they are really good together, and it's going to be interesting along with that too when LeBron retires. What is LeBron? Because the moves that LeBron has been able to make, even being in the league, what does that look like for LeBron post retirement? I think that's when he's just really gonna skyrocket because basketball is gonna be 75% of his time is going to be cleared up for him to do whatever he needs to do. But I want to give a shout out to them again for bringing that back. Shout out to Cam Newton again and Ashley Nicole Moss and BET for just just launching a new idea to the channel and the platform. We need to keep BET alive. And I just wanted to close real quick, and I wanted to just give a shout out to Black Sam. Black Sam is the brother of Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was tragically taken from us on March 31st in front of his Marathon clothing store. He's taking pictures. He was hanging out there. He's always been a man of the people. For the ones that actually love Nipsey Hussle and have been, affected by this even, after everything that has happened. After everything that has happened, I think that it's great to see that, Black Sam, he actually, if for those who don't know, Black Sam took to social media to share the property space that, they own. And, there was a lot of destruction to it. Nipsey's car was actually parked there, when he was killed on that day, and it was parked there for some time, and they gated it off. It looked like it was boarded up. It was closed off to the community for some years. And, he took to Instagram to share that, the businesses were updated and everything was, ready to reopen real soon. And it's really great to see, because since his brother has passed, he's done so many things to not only keep the brand, but his brother's legacy alive, like opening a burger chain that he and Nipsey have always talked about, Marathon Burger. And next time out in Cali, I definitely plan on checking that out. Respecting Nipsey Hussle, what he did, what he stood for. the marathon continues. That business mindset, that independent mindset that you can go after and you can get it, and you got to really just be solid and stay true to what you are and actually having a purpose mindset. And yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Black Sam for keeping Nipsey Hussle's name alive, and not only Nipsey Hussle's name alive, but your family legacy alive, and everything that y'all actually built together. And you just, standing strong in that, because that's what it's about. We want to stand with our families, and we want to stand strong in the beliefs, and we want to always just, build it up, because family's everything, and we need to make sure that we always there for each other. All right, so it's a lifestyle. We'll see y'all once again. It's the official LP. I am your host, the official LP. I'll see y'all again. Peace.